Let's just have another look at that zebra crossing leading across to the station. Quite an experience to walk over there. Now, oh, we seem to have picked up a gunboat. Right, we've come over to the station just for breakfast because we're actually going on the bus today. We're going for a nice, quiet, peaceful day in Taormina. Hotel there, Hotel Prosperina, that's where I'm staying. It's quite handy for the bus station. The railway station is just behind us. And look round this corner at a fairground, which we'll see later on. And another zebra crossing lesson. The cafe next to the bus station has a rather interesting picture on it, and I dare say no more. Anyway, let's get off for our nice quiet day in Taormina. It's a hill resort. I'll just check in as we go past. Just smoke there. It's a hill resort that's on the coast. It's quite fashionable. It was favoured by Goethe and D.H. Lawrence. Now the bus station is just to our right here. We've changed onto a little local bus to take us up the hill into the town. For a nice, quiet, restful day in this fashionable resort. From October to March it's quite reasonable, I understand, but otherwise it would be very packed. I can imagine that. Quite a nice little place really, very fashionable. Oh. Helicopter. A bit noisy. Oh, here he is again. Oh, we've got a gunboat unless that one followed us up from Catania. Just have a look down the coast, back to the south towards Catania, and just a quick check on the mountain here. Seems to be fairly quiet. Ah, now that's a clutch of police vehicles down there. The gunboat. Anyway, back to our nice, quiet, peaceful, restful day in Taormina. Oh, here again. Who is this anyway? Causing a lot of noise and commotion. Ha! Look at that. It's the Carabinieri. The police. Anyway, I don't think they saw us. Back to our nice, quiet, peaceful day in Taormina. Oh, it's back again. Oh, okay. And more police here. There are so many police here, they're even causing their own traffic jams. And that in a car-free street as well. It's supposed to be pedestrianised, this street. Anyway, back to our nice, quiet, restful day in Taormina. Very civilised. Right, just in case anybody thought that last church was the Duomo, this is the Duomo. Got police here now, and police here, and military. Etna's still fairly quiet. Oh. Ooh. Ah, I thought they'd got us then. There's a monastery up there. I don't think I should be walking up there though today. Having a nice, quiet, peaceful, restful day at Taormina. Now then, look at all these lovely things you could buy when you're on holiday here, having a nice, quiet, peaceful day in this hill resort of Taormina. There you are, you wanted to be in the picture, and there you are. Right. Oh, that's it, is it? We've got NATO defence ministers here, and everybody's looking after them. Blow if it spoils everybody else's day. Millions of them. Anyway, I think we'll scoot off somewhere else, somewhere out of the way. It's actually quite a short walk up a side street to the Greek theatre. 3rd century BC. Just met some chaps from Turkish television. They thought I was the BBC, but show how to do it. So basically the Greek theatre is obviously more or less the same, but all the accoutrements are Roman. It was largely altered by the the Romans. They didn't. Yeah. They didn't think much about Aeschylus. They preferred gladiators, so they took a lot of the front seats out to make some area for gladiators and whatnot. And they built, or probably those walls at the back, but they also built behind the so-called stage a big backdrop thing like all this lot here, which when it was a lot higher in the old days totally obscured the view of Etna, which is one of the reasons for siting the thing here. Oh wait a minute, there's some smoke or something, I'm sure. Yeah, there we are. Smoking. Yep, somebody's keeping an eye on it. Do you know, it must have been quite nice to sit here in the old days, possibly watch a play by Aeschylus or somebody of that ilk, and you could see the volcano before the Romans built that backdrop, which has now fallen down in the middle. And I bet you could smoke in those days as well. Now then, I don't know what play this is, but they're not saying much. At least I can't hear them. It's
probably Greek tragedy.
Probably that one about the Greek general whose name I forget.
Right, now you must imagine that you're stood here and you are going to give a performance like friends, Romans, countrymen. Lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. Nobody's taking any notice. And this is from the back row, looking away from the stage.
Well, I'm told that on a clear day you can see Calabria in southern Italy. And there are the cable cars linking the beaches to the hill resort of Taormina. Now, I think it's about time for something to eat. So I'll join my colleagues from Rai, Italian television, and I shall be having pasta alla Norma. Norma being the opera written by Bellini, who was a local boy, lived in Catania, I believe. Just practicing my camera work, you understand. There we are, pasta alla Norma. Bit more practice on the camera work, I think. Right, very nice. And just round the corner, the Roman theatre, called the Odeon, I believe. Originally used for musical performances, although that's all very un-Roman to my mind. And as often happens, a church is built on half of it. Probably a handy source of stone or maybe a statement, I'm not sure which. Here are the boys again. There is some more. Wow. No, there isn't time to go up there. We must get back on the little bus to go down to the bus station. Now we're back on the big blue bus now, making our way down to sea level. But the boys haven't finished with us yet, as you will see shortly. These people in blue and grey and whatnot who we pay, theoretically, to protect us, seem to spend most of the time protecting them from us. And we still pay for it, which is a pretty good trick if you can pull it off. Things don't change, do they? I mean, in the old days you'd have the Pope or the King or Emperor or Tyrant pulling off the same trick. Things is pretty much the same as far as I can see. There you are, there you are. And he's going to lose his temper if we don't move. See? I don't know what the driver said then, but I hope it was something appropriate. So these people who we are paying the wages of have now disrupted us again, and we've got to go right down here until we can find somewhere to do an inversione. and it was quite a long way, but we eventually found a garage, a filling station where we could turn round. And start heading back the way we came. Now we're back to the junction almost now. We would really want to go straight on here, but we have to go left back up on the way to Taormina. There we are. But very shortly we were back on the motorway heading towards Catania. Now tomorrow is car day, and I shall be going down to the airport on the local bus to pick up the hire car that I booked the other day. Heading southwards towards Pantalica, which is an area which has been inhabited since the 13th century BC. Now one of these people here was sneaking through a garage forecourt to miss some cars, jumped the queue, so he's got them. Now I will then head from there to Palazzolo Acreidi, where I can find the ancient Greek site of Acrae. Then on to the three towns we mentioned earlier: Noto, Ragusa and Modica. Baroque town which rivals Syracuse, that's Noto. A lot of these places were rebuilt extensively after that big earthquake, and I'm quite looking forward to see them. But without wishing to give the show away too much, perhaps I should say at this stage that having got to Pantalica, which was a mistake anyway, and it really needed a 5-mile hike after you got there, across country down a ravine, I then discovered that I hadn't got a reverse gear on this Fiat car that I had hired. That was quite a problem. I mean, having no map, you could get around that, but not having reverse gear on a car was a bit restricting. I didn't know, as everybody else in the world knows, that Fiats have a secret switch if you want to get reverse gear, and I'm the only person in the world that didn't know that, apparently. So having got to Palazzolo Acreidi, I gave up the ghost and missed the others out altogether. Another car day disaster. Now watch out for the bump any time now. Yeah. Now we're heading in on the road that leads straight down to the bus station and my hotel, which is not Prosperina as I keep calling it, but Proserpina, I think. Now we'll get very shortly, you'll see my local shop, because outside there they don't just double park, they triple park and everything. Now let's just have another look at this zebra crossing across to the station. We're stood with our back towards the station now, looking the other way. Now apparently what you have to do to walk across, you set off at a steady pace and don't look left or don't look right, and most of the time it works. Just occasionally you get someone who tends not to see a yellow bus but has to slow down. I found it quite hairy every time I tried to get across there, but usually tried to walk behind or at the side of a local. Anyway, we're all looking forward to our car day tomorrow, aren't we?